director of the Ann Wigmore Institute in Puerto Rico. What's up, Carolyn? How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I just got home from my job at the Ann Wigmore Institute. This place has been here for I think it's almost 35 years. I've been part of it for about 23 years. I didn't get to meet Ann Wigmore. She died like 4 years before I got here, but my mentor was her I don't know, like a disciple. I don't know if that's a great word for it, but her student, one of her main students. And we've been carrying it on, her teachings. And for me, she's like the mother of raw food and, indoor gardening and healing yourself. She has a book called Be Your Own Doctor. I love that. And, she's someone that really paved the way for everyone to realize they can take their health into their own hands and use their food as their medicine and other ways, meditation, clearing the mind, all the good stuff that holistic healing does for us.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a big mentor of mine. And so I was
Oh,
like, oh my gosh, we were connected through email. And I was like, let me just ask and see if I can interview her because I have lots of questions for you. And so, can you just tell me? I just want to know, well, what do you guys do there, first of all, at the Ann Wigmore Institute in Puerto Rico?
okay. So we pretty much carry on what she started. She started a place in Boston called the Hippocrates Institute. And then there was a split between her and the man, Brian Clement, who's the director of what he called it's his version. And he went there and she came to Puerto Rico and we continue her teaching. So this place is like a school meets a retreat and it's on the ocean. I mean, we're like a few steps away from the ocean. People come and they stay usually 2 weeks and they really I like to think of it this as they're balancing themselves, they're attuning themselves. We have a major green diet here, so it's a lot of microgreens, wheatgrass. We don't eat a lot of fruit at first. We do eat papaya is like a normal thing that we eat regularly to help people, with the sweets. But we're working with people. I think of it like we're balancing the gut. So I've been a colon therapist also here years before. I still do it sometimes and teach it. I inspire people to look at their gut and their gut health and realize that as you clean and you nourish your gut, and I will say mine too with nature and all that, it's an amazing thing how symptoms just go away.
Mm.
So no, so people stay for 2 weeks. We do yoga every morning. We have therapies like massage and colonics, and we have wheatgrass every morning served after yoga right on the ocean. And then people at their own pace can do a little more of the wheatgrass. We don't suggest people go crazy on it because you can have a healing crisis. And we eat this thing called energy soup, which is blended microgreen soup with a little bit of homemade, like a probiotic drink from cabbage. So like I said, it's very green. We do eat salads and pates and seed cheeses. So it's really, if you read one of her books and you see her as a mentor like me, it's everything that she was doing. I'd say it's even more green and more clean in some way. Like we don't do garlic or Bragg's or things like this because we want to really help people get rid of any obstruction in the digestive tract. We really promote people to walk barefoot and go on the beach, look at the moon, journal. So I just watch people come through every 2 weeks, and sometimes they stay longer and just leave feeling amazing and being inspired and say, I'll see you next year. I'll be back soon. I just love it. And feeling like family and that connection is really healing too. It's a very loving place, and Puerto Rico is a beautiful island.
Yes,
So
where exactly are you guys in Puerto Rico?
we're on the West Coast. So San Juan is more on the east northeast shore, and we're on the far west coast near a great town called Rincon that's known for its surfing. So we have a great surfing community. There's like an art walk and a farmer's market there. And then we're like one town over. Although we did buy land over in Rincon, and we are going to be moving as soon as we build into this beautiful, like 3 acre up on a hill overlooking the ocean spot. But for now, we're in this like humble little neighborhood in Aguada, which is the town next door. And it's this west coast of Puerto Rico is known as the Wild West, so it's more like country. So I mean, it's not country. We have cities, but it's now big cities. And it's, the airport over here is Aguadilla. So people fly in, we pick them up at the airport. It's a half hour away. And we bring you in, and you don't have to go anywhere in a car. You can be barefoot. You can be, today I couldn't find my sandals, so I was barefoot all day. And my friends always say, Ann Wigmore did that. And Wigmore got off the airplane when she got to Puerto Rico. It was barefoot. You can go into stores barefoot. Nobody bothers you because it's like kind of a surf town, and they kind of expect it.
So for those people that don't know, like who they're not familiar with Ann Wigmore, could you just give us a little bit of history on why Ann Wigmore is kind of like the founder? Well, she's known for discovering wheatgrass, and can you tell everybody how she discovered wheatgrass?
So, well, as far as I know, from books and stories and my mentor, it's pretty much that Ann Wigmore had a series of life events and even illnesses as she grew older, from when she was very young all the way up until her 40s and 50s, besides arthritis, other issues and symptoms and problems. And she ended up getting diagnosed, I think around 55 or younger, in her 50s, young 50s, with stage 4 colon cancer, like boom. And she was in Boston, and they pretty much told her, we can't do anything for you. You need to go home and make your will, and pretty much told her she's going to die. And Ann Wigmore had a life growing up in Lithuania as a little girl. And she kind of lived with I would say, like the town healer or the town herbalist or the town midwife kind of lady that there was back then after a war. And Ann Wigmore grew up helping this lady with poultices and other things to help people heal, especially soldiers from the war would come. And so Ann Wigmore grew up very in tune with nature, very in tune with herbs and edible weeds and grasses, and even helped animals and watched animals heal, and saw that animals chew on grass, saw how animals stayed outside, and kind of I think when she walked out of that doctor, she just knew, oh no, I'm not going to die. And that's number one, just whatever you believe is going to be, right? So if you say, oh shoot, I'm going to die, get ready, even if the diagnosis is wrong. So she said no, and she went back into her past, and she started like working with greens and edible weeds and changing her diet. And I would say she probably also got a little into yoga and meditation and all the things that were going on. And at this time, we're talking about the 60s, I think. And so there was some stuff going on. I don't think of it as new age. I think of it as old world healing, a lot of it, although it became kind of new agey. And she was kind of looked up as a hippie like that, but she really got into healing herself to the point where she did heal herself. And I know, like for a fact, that her husband pretty much said, look, you're not with us. You're not, what are you doing? It's either that or us. And she said, it's this, because my mission now in life is to create spaces for people to heal and to inspire and educate them. And I love that. That to me is like, it just, wow, that's what we need. And so she did that. She created this space in Boston, and then it divided. She wasn't into supplements and charging a lot of money or having doctors be part of it. She really wanted to help you ignite your inner doctor, your inner guru, your inner wisdom, your inner, healer. And that's what I love about it. It's very empowering, the program. So
Wow.
and that's why she got wheatgrass. She tested it on animals, and she tested on herself, and it worked for her. And she said, this is it. I have to share this.
Yes. So no, thank you for that. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that she had stage 4 colon cancer. I knew that, she discovered wheatgrass, but this is amazing. So now at 55, now before 55, do you know how she used to eat? Was she just eating a standard American diet?
Yeah. And I think she ate somewhat whole when she was a child, but she got kind of shipped over here to be with her parents. She has a whole childhood. There's a book called Why Suffer, or another book called Be Your Own Doctor. Those two books kind of show her life story, and it's really beautiful, and you kind of really feel for her whole story, because her parents left her there as an infant. I think she also wasn't a real healthy baby, and they were worried. And also, just bringing a baby across on a ship as an immigrant, a lot of babies didn't make it, and so they left her there. And then when she was, I'm not sure if it was 12 or 15, maybe 16 at least, the lady shipped her back, and so she got pulled away from what was her mother and went to her real mother in Boston, in the city. And guess what? It was like bakeries and fast food. And she's this immigrant that doesn't speak English. And she just got, and her parents bought a bakery and had her working there. And so, I think bakery and I think glue. I know it's like, and so sugar and glue and sweets and dairy, and it made her very sick. And I think she probably got a little away from that, but her diet was, I would say, probably, as far as I know, pretty standard American diet. Maybe she ate some whole foods, but she used to preach a lot about, like, this is going to make big problems in life later for the people in the future. We need communities. We need people growing greens. We need to, support each other.
Yes. She was definitely ahead of her time for sure. I have
Yes.
3 of her books. I have the Wheatgrass book. I have Blended. I think
Uh
that's what it's
huh.
called. And
Uh
then I have
huh.
another one.
Mhm.
And I just
Mhm.
I just love anyone that is just not like everyone else, just willing to step outside and look crazy and chew
Right.
on
Right.
crazy grass,
r-
to
Right.
heal. And
Right.
so I'm curious, and I'm just really honestly curious about what Ann Wigmore's philosophy on fruit was. Why is it less fruit and more of the greens and the sprouts and the
Mhm.
wheatgrass? What is her take on that?
So, and thanks for asking, because believe me, I think it would be a dream to think about just being able to eat fruit. And I wish sometimes I could, and sometimes I do. And the thing is, most of us, and I think if our guts were in balance, so gut being out of balance, I'm talking about microbiome, I'm talking about chemicals, I'm talking about antibiotics, I'm talking about steroids. And a lot of us went through a lot of that through childhood, and even out of balance with the way we eat with white sugar or alcohol or this white flour has really, and a lot of animal products has really messed with the bacteria or the chemistry of our gut. So we're supposed to have a lot of good gut flora, and that is what our immune system lives in and thrives in, and it needs that to work. But Ann Wigmore saw that a lot of people needed so much minerals. Now there's fruit, minerals have fruit in it, but the fruit also has a lot of sugar, and so the concern was that a lot of this bacteria, so there's either the bad guys, right, is either fungus, bacteria, virus, parasites, or cancer. They're the bad guys, and we're allowed to have some bad guys, but we have to have a lot of good. And if we've gone through rounds of medications and stress and lots of processed food, our bodies don't really have that. So she was big into sauerkraut, making our own, no salt. She was big into greens because she felt that the chlorophyll, right, would help clean the blood. If you get your body back in balance and you move a lot, fruit is good for you. It works. But we're dealing with a lot of people that have so much gut out of balance that I think they need this first.
Mm.
But I know it's different for everyone, and I'm always happy if whatever works for anyone. But I see people like, and I'd say dropping weight is a side effect to cleansing the body. And when you cleanse with the chlorophyll, it's it's just really amazing. It's an amazing. The wheatgrass is such a strong cleaner in the body. The amount of oxygen and minerals in the body is out of this world. Really, I think they say 2 ounces of wheatgrass is worth pounds of vegetables in
I
vitamins and
once read
minerals.
it was 4 pounds of
Yes,
vegetables.
yes,
And like, I'm glad you brought up wheatgrass,
yeah.
Carolyn, because okay, so you have wheatgrass every day?
Every day.
I'm
I mean,
guessing.
I missed it this morning, but I have it usually every day. Yeah, 2 ounces at least.
For how long have you done that?
Well, mostly, oh, I don't know. I'd say mostly. So if I go on vacation, I'm not hunting down wheatgrass because it's just a little time, but mostly probably for at least 15 years right now. And then there was a break, and then before that there was 3 years straight. So lots of my life.
Does it ever get easier to
Yes,
take? Oh, it
yes,
does.
yes. And what I notice is the less sweet I eat, the
Mm.
easier it is to eat it. So let's say I come home and I have a lot of fruit, right? In the evening even, and which isn't a great time to eat fruit, but let's say I do it. Or yeah, or I even eat late, even papaya or apples. The morning, the thing is, it's like opposite of sweet. It really balances your sugars. It does something to your cells that start a cleaning of when you have too much sugar. And a lot of us, we're so used to sugar and carbs that we go into fruit. Much better than the sugar and carbs, don't get me wrong. But I've seen people, I just watch people heal amazing things here, and they're shocked, you know, tumors shrinking and skin clearing. Emotionally, they release. So there's something about that green, you know, and it's not easy to get fruit, really. I mean, we have a lot of fruit here in Puerto Rico, but fruit doesn't really come natural to a lot of places, you know. You might
Yeah.
have apples and pears, and I believe in eating somewhat locally too. So depending on where you are, but everyone's got to try things and experiment with their body. So I always tell people when they come, you're your own experiment. Try this program and see if it works and what works for you. And it
Yeah,
works.
Ann Wigmore said, "Be your own doctor."
I know. I
Absolutely,
love that. Yeah.
absolutely. And okay, so now I wanted to ask you, and we didn't talk about this, so let me know um, what your experience is with this. So, do I know people come to your center to heal all sorts of things, and do you ever have people coming that specifically want to heal from a food addiction? Because that's something that I
Yes.
have suffered from, and maybe you have some experience with it personally as well. And let me know what have you ever dealt with a food addiction, and what have you seen from people, and how can we help people heal?
So, yes, I mean, all sorts of emotional and addiction in general, because Ann Wigmore actually created this program with that in mind, because she saw that we were all, and that's out of balance. It's not like you're an addict. Everybody is an addict. Okay. So she said, addiction, she believed addiction came a lot from the lack of minerals and vitamins, the deficiency. She said everyone's sick, out of balance. Let's not say sick, whether it's addiction, a tumor, acne, whatever it is two reasons: deficiency and toxicity. So deficient, she says, deficient in minerals and vitamins, deficient in enzymes, deficient in hydration. What else you could be deficient in love and nature and connection. You could be deficient in the sun shine, you know. And so the lack of, she felt that the lack would make people go, go, go. I would also say the lack of self-love, you know, and the emotional part of it, how we we're not really trained to put ourselves first and to take care of ourselves. We're trained to work, and what are you going to do for the world, and who are you going to take care of, and
And,
this really sets us off from the beginning, you know.
and we're not sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but we're also
Mm-mm.
not trained to love ourselves.
No.
That's for sure. Like, we're not trained to, like, if you say, you know what, I am beautiful, you know what, I am good enough, well, then
Uh-huh.
society tells you that you're a narcissist,
That's right. You're
or you're
arrogant.
conceited or arrogant.
I
And
know.
you know what? That is not true.
That's not true. We need to look in the mirror every day and be like, I love you. I love
Yes.
you. I know the inner child thing is huge. You know, and we're a lot of people, we're broken. The society, you're right. And this is, you know, it's huge. It's humongous. And a lot of people come here that have been binging, and, you know, they they come here, but they realize really quick that it's not all about losing weight. It's about loving yourself, and it's about slowing down your eating. It's about, today we were talking about pausing. I was doing my New York accent. I said, everyone pause. Everyone
What?
pause. And we have a lady from Brooklyn. She's spectacular, you know, and she's like, pause. And I said, so this stopping thing, which is opposite of society too, right? You're lazy if you pause. If you're lazy, if you stop and lay around and daydream. Meanwhile, this is where it's at. The healing is in the pause. The healing is in telling yourself you love yourself. The healing is in believing in yourself. And this is where the abundance of health is, and wealth and relationships is. This is the key, right? I mean, we watch these movies. That's what it is about in a nutshell. Um, I think, you know, and Wigmore always touched upon yoga, meditation, and emotional work. But Lalita Salas, who was the director between Ann Wigmore and me, because I just became the director a year ago, she really embraces and promotes the self-love, and she is like, some people say she's like Mama Teresa, and she grew into that, because I knew her, 20, 30 years ago, and she was, only a few years into being director, and it's such a heavy job, and she was teaching and doing. And in the last years, it's so beautiful to watch her just, be this woman that holds space for people, and people cry. They talk about everything from, you know, their past to, their fears, to sexual stuff, anything with her, because she has these blue eyes, and she just looks at you, right? And listens with no judgment. And people come out of there just telling me, oh my God, she's so wonderful. And, she wants to inspire people to do that for themselves, to hold that space for them, to love themselves, just like you said. It's so huge. It's bigger than the food, is that,
Yes.
right?
I would love to interview her too, maybe if she.
Yes. Yeah, she would love it.
It's bigger than the food. I always say that. And the food is important too. And
Of course.
I think it's like probably 50-50, You do need to know what to eat. You do need to eliminate the things that are hurting you.
That's right. You need to do what's right for you. That's right.
But then the core, it comes down to feeling good enough, feeling worthy, feeling like you have power. You have, like you said earlier, shifting your mind. Like Ann Wigmore, she said, you know what? No, I'm not going to die.
Exactly. That's right. And I'm not listening to that. I'm not doing that. And then even probably with her husband, he probably wasn't happy. She probably wasn't being the good wife from the 60s. I mean, that's not, women didn't do that. And she chose her
Did she
passion.
get a divorce?
Yeah, as far as I know, he left her with her daughter. He took the daughter and left. He was very upset, as far as I know. I mean, it could be. And the daughter used to come back and visit the institute. I think she became a massage therapist. She was a really nice lady. I don't know if she eats this way, because she didn't grow up really. She wasn't, Ann Wigmore got into this in her 50s. By the time Ann Wigmore was 82, I read a quote today in my class, something like, she says, finally at 82, I know there's nothing that cannot be healed if you have complete faith in nature. She believed nature heals everything. And so the food and the emotional part, like you're saying, and just being outside, and eating nature, being with good people and feeling a good vibe, and doing the work. I mean, I love things like Byron Katie, really looking at your thoughts, because we have these thoughts that just aren't true, and they cause an emotional reaction and a physical like ailment because of it, right? Or stress even. And they're not even true. It's crazy what we do. But we can dissect it and fill ourselves with love and simplicity in our minds. So I really think that the more the colon feels calm and isn't full of gases and indigestion and old crap, excuse me, and mucus, the mind just relaxes. And then our psychic abilities, our intuition, our decision making, our feelings are just there for us, and we feel we're really the best people we could be. That's the goal, right? To be the best you can be, and the most loving you, the most compassionate you, and know your true purpose in life. That was what she talked about. Wonderful.
I love that, Carolyn.
Yeah.
You know what? I do like coaching, and I have lots of different things that I do. And so I always am talking about colonics, and people think I'm crazy because literally 99 problems are solved by having a colonic or a series of colonics.
That's right.
And so can you, and I'm so glad you brought it up, because usually I bring it up.
But I love to talk poop. So
Me
you got
too.
the right person.
Seriously, it changed my life. Having a series of 4 colonics 4 weeks in a row changed everything for me. I had cystic acne before I had the colonics.
Right. Because
Yeah.
I always say skin is an inside job.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're right. And you probably changed your diet too, because usually if you do colonics, I don't see, and I'm a colon therapist and we work here, but if someone coming off the street wants a colonic, I have a big talk with them. I say, if you want to get the most out of this, because this costs money, I want you to change your diet a few days before and then continue. And you might want to get at least 3. because each one kind of softens and breaks down the next layer. And by the third, people, when they eat this energy soup and put wheatgrass, and we teach them even to do their own colon cleansing with really gentle enemas and putting wheatgrass in there in plants. And it is amazing the amount of mucus that comes out of people. I mean, people get off the table and they're like, I think I can see better. And I'm like, yeah, probably. And their skin, they look so happy and their skin gets hydrated. And, it's just about keeping the balancing act after, but you can get over that hump of that gunk that was in you, probably stopping your skin from really like breathing and being, balanced. Then you're really you're set. You don't have to do them all the time. It's like whenever, maybe once a year or twice a year, a cleanse. I always tell people that. But other than that, it's great.
Yeah, I also recommend colonics once a year, even for someone who's eating like super healthy, because we're
Oh,
breathing
of
in the
course.
we're breathing in the toxins. The
Mhm.
water is not perfect.
Mhm.
Pesticides, things are not perfect.
Emotions.
Emotions.
Yeah, we do colonics that are very we do gravity. I do Reiki at first, lots of massage that people take. I was saying it's like true confessions. People just say things. Some of them get quiet, some cry, some laugh. But it's, and these are ancient. This isn't like a new thing somebody developed. They were done with gourds and reeds, and
In the
people
Bible.
pre-Egyptian people were doing it so long ago. Exactly. They knew that if you clear your gut, you're going to get better on any level of every way. Even Edgar Casey in the 30s, um, he was into people with psychic abilities and auras and all that. He says, you gotta clean your colon, you gotta clean your gut, because that's our center. That's where we're connected to our mother. That's our core. It's our emotional being too. So to clean that area, and it's done so gentle. I never have people in pain, especially if you change the diet a few days before. If you go in there, you just had rice and beans, and you go in there, or meat, yeah, that's not a great time. You don't do an enema or colon cleanse then. You take a few days before, you drink a lot of water, and it changes people's lives, just like you said. Me too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And so now, since you are a professional, I'm curious, because I'm always recommending colonics to my clients, and then most people, it's amazing. They release so much. They feel so good. Their skin changes in 24 hours. Everything is
Mhm.
amazing. But some people, they don't release anything. Like there's
Right,
been very few, a very small
right.
percentage. But
Yeah.
what's going on there where they're not
They
releasing anything?
it's hardened old mucoid plaque, and they need to keep going at it slowly, and it needs hydration. So like warm water, it's not burning hot, it's like 100 degrees or less, and it gets in there and massage it around, and they're relaxing. And I always say, set the intention of letting go, emotionally, physically. Set the
Mm.
intention of letting go of your past. Set the intention of forgiveness of others and yourself, because the colon is an organ of forgiveness. I think it's an organ of letting go. And even people who live long, when you really look at it, it's people who let things roll off. They don't hold grudges, they don't hold anger or guilt. It's not healthy to hold. It's healthy to release and let go. And so colonics help people realize that. I've had a lot of people cry during their colonics and walk out feeling like 1,000 pounds lighter, you
Oh
know.
yeah, 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 yeah. I cried.
But most people need. I mean, I went to this colon school, just to get certified. I really learned how to do colonics with Lalita and on my own from doing them here, after many years. But she said that people need like 12 colonics to get the real old gunk out. And it's not just about getting the gunk out. You want to learn to eat in a way that balances the bacteria, right? So this is why we promote mostly green, and then some healthy plant-based fats, you like an oily food like coconut meat, or avocado, or seeds and nuts. But we activate all our seeds and nuts. We even ferment it, make yogurts and cheeses. So we don't just eat nuts like this. You know, we make flax crackers and things like that. But we're eating, like today we had energy soup with a sunflower seed yogurt, and some sauerkraut with turmeric and ginger and seaweed dulse, and it was delicious. Actually, I didn't love it when I first had it. I didn't hate it because I was already into raw, but people come here and they're like, "Well, I don't like it." I'm like, "Well, we're not trying to impress you. We're trying to help your gut come into a balance fast in 1 or 2 weeks, you know? So it's a lot. But if they do their homework and clean their colon and put the wheatgrass in both ways, and they have outstanding, we do 3 days of only blended. They're in it right now. Tomorrow they break it with a zucchini noodle pesto and like salad. But some of them will keep eating the soup because they're getting somewhere really quick, you know, and you have to be ready for it. You have to want to do it. I can't just grab my friend and say, "Here, you're doing this." This is like, you have to be ready, like I said, to let go and put your all into it.
I
Mm.
would love, oh,
I
I'm just
hope
going to
you
be honest.
come. You better
I'm just going to be
come.
honest. Okay, so I wanted to come in 2011. I wanted to go to the Ann Wigmore Institute in 2011 when I went raw,
Oh,
but circumstances happened where I couldn't go. And now it's been 12 years. I've been eating raw vegan. And
wow.
even me eating raw
Yeah.
vegan for 12
Yeah.
years, I
Yeah.
want to go just
Yeah.
because I love, everything you're saying. I feel great
Yeah.
energy from you. I know I love Ann Wigmore. I love Puerto Rico. I love the whole thing.
Yeah.
But I I can't be without fruit for that long. 2 weeks.
Well, no, there's papaya at breakfast and dinner every night. There's papaya. There we have one snack that's watermelon. I did make a snack that has a pineapple, cucumber, green smoothie. So there's a little bit, you know. It's funny though, but why can't you be without it for a couple weeks? I'm just
Because
curious.
that's
You're
well,
gonna
well,
detox.
the thing is, I'm not coming to Ann Wigmore to heal, right? Like I've went through my healing crisis, gotten over 20 colonics. And so yeah, if I was coming to like heal an ailment, I do believe that fasting is like the fastest way to heal. And it is a form of fast, having just the greens and the blended. So it is I might do that if I was sick, But since I'm not sick, I love to eat fruit. I love fruit. And
Fruit,
that's my
I
calories.
fruit, yeah. Well, you get calories and what you eat fats too and oils. No, what do you eat
Well,
for?
I eat fruit, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. I eat avocado. I eat coconut meat, but I don't do any oils. Um,
Good, good. Yeah, we don't either. But you eat
and
the oils from the source.
yes,
Yeah, but you don't eat a lot of greens.
well, not as much as you guys, but I know I should eat more. I want to eat more, and I was doing wheatgrass for a while, but then there's so much conflicting information on the internet.
Yes, yes,
Carolyn, it's so hard
yes.
to know.
No,
So let
it's
me
not
ask
good.
you,
Yeah.
how do you know what is truth? Because out there, if you Google the dangers of wheatgrass, you'll find out wheatgrass is not for us. It's not natural. But then if you Google the benefits, you'll see all the benefits. So how do we know?
I experiment on myself. And that would be what you would be doing. I mean, if you don't have any ailments, you would be coming to experience and experiment on what happens with your body when you eat mostly green. You know, it's just an experience. It's definitely, you're not going to die. You're not going to get hurt. If you went into a huge withdrawal, it'd be funny to look at that because you're used to having a certain amount of sugar in your body. And I'm saying good sugars.
Yep,
And, you know,
this is true.
it would just drop. It would just drop. Or, you know, if you really had a hard time, believe me, I'll go get it for you because I don't want you like crying. But you probably would go through an emotional detox, which is what happens to a lot of people here who come in already eating pretty clean.
Mm.
They go through an emotional thing because you'd be at least stopping and taking care of yourself, right? You wouldn't be working, you wouldn't be at your home. There's other people around. The universe has put this group together with you, and something would be stimulated because I think I'm always going to be in healing. And because emotionally, if you're on this planet, I kind of think there's work to be done, you know, and I see this program as something that brings stuff up, you know.
Yes, that's such a good point. And I love what you
Yeah.
said. The healing is in the pausing. The healing
Yeah.
is in the pausing. And, like, honestly, I'm going to talk to my best friend because I want to go with her for 2 weeks. And
Yeah, I hope you do.
yeah, how many people do you have at one time there?
We never have more than 26 people at a time, which I love
Love that.
because, you know, I think this group is like 23. We don't like it to go too low, but sometimes it is, especially through COVID. We had a couple like low times, and I think people are just coming back into going out more and doing.
Yeah.
Most of our clients, funny enough, are return students. So they come for a couple years in a row and they just love it. And, we have a really warm, sweet staff too. And people really feel they can just be themselves. There's not this feeling like you have to dress up and you have to put your makeup. And I think people really need that. That's kind of pausing too. And yeah, I think I think Puerto Rico is spectacular too. I think it just has a special
Yeah.
vibration. The weather is beautiful, like almost every day. There's only like 2 months of this year. It's really the hurricane season, which is like September, October kind of time for me, that it's really kind of humid and the air doesn't move. But we're closed. We close down. We do maintenance, take a break. This year, me and Lalita plan to go to France and do long of programs, 1 week long programs. So that's going to be nice too, I hope. We used to go to Spain because this is wanted all over the world, and people just always feel better. I've never seen someone leave and not feel much, much, much better and look better. I've seen people say, I had knee pain for 10 years and I'm walking in here with no knee pain or much less knee pain. And it gives them incentive to keep going.
It's absolute. I cannot only imagine. Let's do another interview one day,
Yeah.
because I can only imagine the testimonials, the things that you have seen over the
Yeah.
last,
Yeah,
15
it's
years. You
why I
said.
work here. It's why I work here. I mean, I'm not somebody. I'm not somebody. I'm not a salesy person unless I really believe in
Right.
something. Yeah, maybe Lalita and I can come on because you'd like to meet her. She's spectacular person.
Would
You
love
know.
to. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's just a testament to the power of the body
That's
to
right. Oh,
heal.
that's right. That's all it's about. Trust the body, give it its space to heal, give it a place, give it the pause, give it the time, be patient because and yeah, you and me would suggest some colonics too because it just helps, it helps that detox feeling. When people are detoxing, I love this whole new thing I keep thinking about. Detoxing has the same symptoms as people when they're sick or out of balance: runny nose, headaches, achy, grouchy, angry, frustrated, tired, or can't sleep, anxious, depressed, all these things, acne, pimples. All this stuff happens when people detox, but it also happens when people get sick. Getting sick means your body's screaming to detox. The body is so brilliant. If we would just let the body go through getting the mucus out, and coughing and doing warm teas or fruit and greens and juices and doing some enemas. This is old world. The body heals itself. Just like you said, it's much smarter than up here. Up here, we have a lot of stuff. And like you said, we look in all these different, this says this and this says this. We have to really go into our body and experience and experiment for our own. I came here very skeptical. I was 30 years old and I was like, I'm going to try this because I was already a raw foodist for about 6 months. And this was the year like 2000. And I came here, I read her book and I fell in love with her book. Then I called and I fell in love with the director, not Lalita, but the other one who just died a couple years ago. I She for me felt like I just was drawn to her and I said, I have to come. And so I came. I was living in Brooklyn going, how can I heal and cleanse and really cleanse living in Brooklyn and breathing in this air, because it wasn't great air. And when I came, some of the teachers didn't really look the part for me. And I was probably a little sassy. And so they'd talk. And I remember being like, but you don't do
Well,
that.
you are from Brooklyn, so.
Yeah, no, well, I'm not from there. My parents are. I'm from upstate. I'm like from the country. I'm more of a
Oh,
country girl. But yeah, I can be sassy anyway. I have parents that are. But I was 30, and I remember just thinking like, this person doesn't look the part. So to teach it, I had a real hard time with it. And as I saw more and more Lalita as my teacher and saw what she was doing and would have great conversations and her experimenting on her body with fruit, with more green, with too much fat, with not enough back and forth and more extra. It's like we both went through this huge process of learning about our lives. And the emotional part and the thoughts are so huge, but it is what your body can handle, and everyone is different, and what you can handle today you might not be able to handle in a few years. everyone changes. So it's good to know a lot about all this and experiment with it all, right? But
Yeah.
wheatgrass is grass. I mean, it's prehistoric.
Oh, wait, you cut off for a second.
Dogs and cats and everything, they go out and they find the most young grass, and they don't chew on it to throw up. They chew on it for minerals. They do it every day if they can. It makes sense. And we're not talking about lots, and you can even just chew it and spit out the pulp. You get energy from that. I go to expos, I always have a tray of wheatgrass. I'm going to be in Raleigh. I'm going to do Chicago and Milwaukee because people don't know about us enough. And we're a beautiful little place and humble. And, you pay your price, and then we're not like trying to sell you on everything. You don't touch your money the whole time you're here. It's wonderful in that way.
Yeah, I really love that. And as you guys know, I'm affiliated with the Woodstock Fruit Festival, and
Yeah.
we're the same way. And I hope that maybe you come to
Oh, I
Woodstock.
want to go. I want to go. I'm from right near Woodstock, New York. That's where I'm from. And then
Ah,
I had a few friends tell me about it. And I said, well, for me, I love fruit and I do know fruit is wonderful. But I just do promote lots of greens. But I wanted to sign up, but you guys didn't have your date yet. And, but I,
by the way, we have lots of greens. We have lots of
good.
greens.
Yeah.
You always like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, always greens. At dinner, of course, there's way more. We have all the greens.
Ah,
Everything's always organic for the
that's
greens.
great. Yeah.
And so you can. I know some people that come to Woodstock and they have little fruit and they make big green smoothies, and they
Right.
have lots of greens. And so I'll let you know because the dates are not set
Right.
yet.
No, when they
Um,
know, when you know I'm coming. But you're in Florida, right? You're not in Woodstock, New York.
we just moved everything to Florida.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry. You
warmer.
had 11 years. You
No, but
had
it's warm. It's too cold. I don't go up there too much anymore. It's too
right.
bloody cold.
Yeah. And okay, last question because we're almost at our time. And
Yeah.
I wanted to say, first of all, thank you so much. How can people find out more
No.
information about the Ann Wigmore Institute?
Well, thank you very much. You're awesome and sweet and better than I expected. I'm so glad we connected, and I look forward to knowing you more in person, both me coming there and you coming here. We're easy. We're annwigmore.org, and she doesn't have an E, so it's just ANN. Then I was thinking, more wigs, Wigmore, WIGMORE. And, we're not like a shrine of hers. We're not, she's not like this. But she was such a pioneer, like you said, ahead of her time. And she didn't get the credit she deserves. So
No.
we're always going to be in Wigmore. And, you know, well, I love her because I know stories of her and what she did. She's helped really probably hundreds of thousands of people because, even you got helped by her by a book, and then you talk to someone else, and it spreads, it's contagious, and I love it. So yeah, that, or I can give you the phone number too, because, if you want, but if not, that's okay. AnnWigmore.org.
I'll leave the information below if you're watching on
Great.
YouTube. And yeah, I mean, listen, Ann Wigmore, she
Mm.
inspired me so much in 2011 because I just found out about this woman who, and is this true? She changed her gray hair to
Yeah, yeah, I'm
back
gonna
to
see it
black.
happen. But yeah, but I think that happened because she got so green. Because I'm seeing it happening with Lalita. Lalita is like 74 years old and has probably definitely, I have more gray than her. Hmm.
Oh. Yeah, that's the first thing I found out about her. And then I just loved that she took her health into her own
I
hands.
do too. Me too. I'm so inspired by her in that
Yes.
way. Yeah. And I can't thank you enough. You're wonderful. And just to give me the space to let people know we exist, and that, call if you want. My email, I'm Carolyn at annwigmore.org, and I would love to answer any questions. And I'm going to be going around and doing expos. I'm going to come to your fruit festival for sure this year. And I'm going to, just be trying to get around and just explain who we are and hand out pamphlets and flyers, and I want to do more YouTube videos. And, I love talking and I love expressing how great this place is for people.
And you have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and
Yeah.
also you've seen a lot, and you work directly with people every day. And so I
Yeah.
can only imagine. Next time we talk, we'll talk about the testimonials and the things you've seen.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my very last question, Carolyn,
Yeah.
is I'm curious if you could, and you've shared so much, so thank you very much. I took so many notes. But if you could send a message to everyone in the world right now, what kind of message, what would you say to people that are struggling with eating a healthy, lifestyle, with choosing healthy foods on a consistent basis?
I would say pause or stop, right? Take some time, as in just get quiet, right? Breathe. Get into breathing for a moment and give yourself the gift of eating food that is alive from nature. Because when you eat food that's alive, whether it's fruit and vegetables, but fresh, raw, you eat live food that has a lot of energy. It gives you energy either to clean or heal, or to run around and do all you have to do. If you eat cooked food or dead food, it's going to bring you down. Even if it's this vegan stuff, like all this vegan talk is really, it's not about that. If you can eat mostly fresh, raw fruits and vegetables, you're on your way. Then you learn other things, like how it's easier if you blend it or you juice it or you ferment it, and microgreens. There's more to learn, but just start loving yourself. Start loving yourself and give yourself the food you're meant to eat. We were meant to eat raw fruits and vegetables. That's it. And it will bring your body into balance and you'll get happy. The side effect is as happiness. That's what I love, you know?
So true. And it's just as
Mhm.
simple as that. You choose, the food in the supermarket that you know is healthy, and then
That's
you
right.
just start eating it. And you know
That's
what?
right.
Things
You're
get
on your
better.
way. That's right. You just
Yeah.
trust. You just go to the
Trust.
produce section. I don't go to any of the other sections. Just go to the produce, pick out all the colorful food. If you like grapefruit, if you want a banana, open up to all the fresh fruits and vegetables, and begin to love yourself and follow your gut. I think that that's the main thing to start with, and you know how I feel. I believe in eating a lot of green and all that, but I started that way. I allowed myself to eat all the fruits and vegetables I wanted, and I lasted 3 years only on that, and I loved it. And I still feel it. I just it changed me. It made me a happier person. And if I did get a little sick, I got better really quick. It just nothing was weighing me down. It's the cooked food that's addictive because it's cooked. It's just as addictive as all the addictions we can have, alcohol and drugs. So raw food, it really changes that. It heals people mentally and emotionally. I really see it. So,
Absolutely.
mhm.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Carolyn. It's so beautiful there. Oh
Yeah,
my
I wanted to show
gosh.
you I wanted to show you the nice
Oh my
trees. I'm not
gosh.
at the institute. I'm at my house and I live up on a hill, but I
Ah,
love the trees here.
I've been to
Yeah.
Puerto Rico. It was a dream. It was a dream. I loved it so much. Right now I'm in Miami. So
Good.
pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah, you're very
Um,
close.
yes, so I really want to come. So I'll be in touch. We have each other's
Good.
contacts. And
Yeah.
guys, click the link below to check out the Institute. And I'll leave
Mm.
Carolyn's email below. Thank you for that.
Oh,
And
thank you so
thank you
much.
so
You're
much.
such a light. You're such a light. I'm
Thank
giving you
you
the other
so
hand,
much.
but I'm holding it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Carolyn. Have a beautiful
Thank
night.
you.
And
You
thanks for spending
too.
time with me.
Thank you too. It was a pleasure. Thank
Thank you.
you. Bye,
Bye.
everybody. Mhm.
Bye, you guys.
Bye bye.